I just always liked painting, and possibly, there are several moments I remember. I remember going to the Ashmolean Museum. I remember having meeting an art student who was staying with neighbors. So she was a lot older than me, and I remember she was Dutch. I remember just drawing. I always liked drawing, and then I started doing live drawing classes in there. So yeah. It was very different, because going to Düsseldorf, I had hardly any idea what it meant to be an artist. I mean, I had this ideas how I wanted to be an artist, but going to Düsseldorf was a good move, because there I actually found real artists, not people who were telling me how other people do it, but they were artists. Were artists. So it's also a bit of a difference in the German and the British education, because the artists you study with at an academy are internationally known artists, so you can see their work in museums, and so that's anyway. But then at the Royal College Peter Doig was there, so teaching me again, very well known, and actually all of them are very a lot of good painters there too. And then there was more of a variety of styles and influences, where Düsseldorf was very focused on one style of painting of the group, of the class I was in. Then in London it became more sort of varied. Yeah, that's. Yeah, and it's recovering and just and finding what is there was somehow that's. So I don't have any. I mean, the source, everything's in my head when I start painting. It's not really, and then I just have to use that and really just the very raw materials. I guess it's always interested me. Like, what do you actually see when you're just in your head? Are there images, or is it just how? So that's what you see when you dream. Are there real images, or just So that's color. What kind of colors? So I try to paint the inner images. It started in Düsseldorf, I think. Yeah, I mean, I went straight away from painting very small to very big suddenly when I started. Very quickly adopted this on the floor painting that makes it easier to not lose half the image when it's always on. I mean, I guess because sitting at a table and drawing on a piece of paper is a similar perspective in a way, actually, from walking around on a painting, seeing. Yeah, very much so. It was very decisive, like the first few strokes and how the paint moves around, and I can take it. It's almost like a camera obscura in the studio, and then you're developing the picture. Yeah, I don't really have favourites, right? I mean, I read a lot all the time, but I don't. It's difficult. I mean, so I'd like to say, this is my favourite writer. Actually, actually only there's a couple of writers here. I guess I was thinking of the Oblomov, Goncharov in the sleeping, it's the sleeping who move the world, from Oblomov, and I was thinking of, I was reading a story by Primo Levi when I was about the centaurs, and I also always really liked graphic novels like Max Moritz and Asterix and yeah, Tintin, and so. They do, but I mean, I actually tend to sort of go from one to the other without finishing one, going to the next, and then using. I'm very economical with the pigments and the paints. I tend to use, for a group of painters, just literally use the same bucket of paint, and so that's so they all inform each other in that way, that they're actually made with the same. Some of the paint, they give the leftover paints from the last painting, so they go from one to the next. And then sometimes when I made the next painting, I have to go back to the one before because I see that there's something out of balance then. Also, yeah, that's right. I started with the circles a little bit because I was thinking about the floor here, I think. So when it's not that I was deliberately painting circles, but they started appearing, yeah. I guess because I've always paint what is most sort of pressing, and this has been the most pressing thing, really. Just this anxiety and uncertainty, and there's also just a change in people's behaviour and people's attitudes, and it's quite it has been quite a horrible thing to witness, really, how people, I don't know, how a country can change. That's the thing. I don't know if I've made any paintings about the American election or anything like that. I mean, I've definitely made some Obama paintings, because like their enthusiasm and I made some, I don't know, it's the current affairs, just feeding into the work, like they feed into their dreams or nightmares or. I just hope that they somehow occupy a space in between all these images. Somehow the paintings can be a moment that captures that something that is between everything, in between like thoughts and something like it's not in the world, but in the world. Sort of, yeah, that's.